want you to talk about the stinking thinking versus the growth thinking, just to get us
Yes,
started.
yes. So it's more like it's a poverty mindset is what I start off with, and then that's thinking in a sense, right? And then the goal is to move from a poverty mindset to a growth
Mm.
mindset. And there's a process with that. It boils down to reframing the way how you think and how you see things, how you hear things. But at the same time, what you focus on is the key. And it's like you gotta truly control your inner and outer gates. What you look at, what you see, what you hear, what you listen to on a daily
Right.
basis. The voice you listen to on a daily basis. So now when it comes down to your outer gate, it's your tongue. See, the tongue is very powerful. It can speak life or it can speak death. And that is a gift that we've been given of the power of the tongue. So the question you gotta ask yourself, which I had to ask myself a long time ago, is do I want to speak positivity or negativity in my life? What do I want to invite into the atmosphere around me? What type of aura do I want to put off into the atmosphere, into the
Yeah.
universe? Like, what do I want the universe to, how do I want the universe to speak to me?
Do you have something to say, but find it difficult to speak up or speak out? And do you know how to speak from awareness? Hello and welcome to Angelscapes, and I'm your host, Nancy Smith, your guide to living a soul-powered life. And I welcome you to join my Facebook page called Soul Powered Living, where we can discuss what we started in the podcast and any other questions that you may have. Joining me in this episode is Teon Singletary to talk about finding and using the power of your voice. Teon is a leadership coach and a veteran who helps clients figure out their purpose and their power in their lives. Belief structures can keep us from reaching our highest and best. And we will discuss how to move from stinking thinking to growth thinking. And welcome, Teon. It's so good to see you on the podcast. We've had some great conversations setting this up. Tell
Yes,
us
we
about
have.
this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
glad to be here. Thank you. It's my plum pleasing pleasure to be here on your podcast and to add value to your listeners.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no, you have a lot of energy. You have a lot of good ideas. What jumped out to me um, is how much experience that you have had in your life that could really help people. Um, and we can go into that a little bit more as we go along the podcast. But I want you to talk about the stinking thinking versus the growth thinking, just to get us
Yes,
started.
yes. So it's more like it's a poverty mindset is what I start off with, and then that's thinking in a sense, right? And then the goal is to move from a poverty mindset to a growth
Yeah.
mindset. And there's a process with that. It boils down to reframing the way how you think and how you see things, how you hear things, but at the same time, what you focus on is the key. And it's like you gotta truly control your inner and outer gates. What you look at, what you see, what you hear, what you listen to on a daily
Right.
basis. The voice you listen to on a daily basis. So now when it comes down to your outer gate, it's your tongue. See, the tongue is very powerful. It can speak life or it can speak death. And that is a gift that we've been given of the power
Mhm.
of the tongue. So the question you gotta ask yourself, which I had to ask myself a long time ago, is do I want to speak positivity or negativity in my life? What do I
Mhm.
want to invite into the atmosphere around me? What type of aura do I want to put off into the atmosphere, into the
Yeah.
universe? Like, what do I want the universe to, how do I want the universe to speak to me? So,
That's true.
so based on what you say, positivity. If that's what you want, you gotta speak positive things over
Mhm.
your life. You have to
Mhm.
have those I am statements, those affirmations those declarations, which is something that I had to do in the beginning stage of my shifting from a poverty mindset to a growth mindset. Now, was that overnight? Oh no, it was a process, right? It was definitely a journey. It was definitely a voyage that I decided to partake on. All right. So it starts with, what do you tell yourself when you wake up in the morning? What are the words that you speak in the atmosphere when you wake up in the morning, right? How do you start off your day? What type of mindset do you have when you start your day? So all those things plays a part, and it's so much more to it. But the overall gist of it is, you got to really be intentional on the way how you think and how you carry yourself on a day-to-day basis. And you got to be consistent with it. Because for a point in time, I was not consistent at all. Right? I was not. Consistency is a job.
It certainly
work.
is. It is. It's a power too. Discipline and power. We talked this about a lot, and I put it in the show notes, is the belief systems that our lives can be structured around. And these belief systems can just run the car the whole time, but they're not often telling us the truth. And how do you shift from one belief system that mom and dad or situation taught you to a new belief system? And isn't it hard to believe in something new when your life has proven to you that it's all horrible?
That's actually a good question, Nancy. And when you hear it, it sounds like a complex problem, right? A complex thing, but it's really not. If you think about it in the sense that I'm about to share with you, and that is, the shift. It starts when you just make a decision. It's a choice. And the one thing that we have the power of is the power of choice. To choose what route we want to take. Like when we at the fork of the road, we have multiple ways to go. We have to make a decision on which route we take. Which journey are we going to commit to, right? And once you commit to it, you got to commit to it all the way to the end, right? So that's the same thing about thinking about the shift, the mindset shift. You have to make a decision. That's it, period. And sometimes it takes life situations to help us to make those decisions. Like sometimes people don't make a move or decide to move in the direction that they need to go in their life until they hit their lowest low. And when they hit the lowest low, there's no other choice but to go a direction. And you got to pick the direction and you got to go with it. We also make a decision when we have the option and we are very clear. We have the clarity of the direction that we need to go. And because we have that clarity and that awareness, we're able to make a logic decision to go in the direction that we need to go.
So how do you show people to get that clarity? I'm interrupting you, but that's like clear, but like I get clear.
Yes, and that's the next step, right? How do you get the clarity? If you don't want to be the person that gets to the lowest low, then you make a decision. If you want to be more proactive than reactive, then you got to find that clarity. And you need to find that clarity sooner than later. And how you do that, how I did it, was I took time to reflect. Very simple. Something that most people in the world don't do, and that is take time to think. And because we don't take time to think, that's why we have the poverty mindset. That's why we have the stinking thinking. Because we don't take time to exercise our thinking muscle. So the more you exercise your thinking muscle, the more clearer you become with your purpose, clarity that you become with anything with your life, depending on what you are taking the time to reflect on. So that, again, it takes intentionality. You have to be intentional on why you are reflecting and what you are trying to discover, because the most powerful thing is your mind. And your mind works all the time, and it will find the solutions to your problems of your life if you prompt it properly and you prepare it the right way. It will give you the answers that you need. The universe will speak to you spiritually, right? And give you the answers you need with the wisdom. So taking the time is what I did. I took the time to reflect and reflect daily. And the most pivotal moment for me when that made so much difference in my life, it helped me to create that paradigm shift, to pivot and shift into a better way of life, was when I was in a point where I wasn't a good person. Right, I was very egotistical. I didn't care about no one else but myself. I had no empathy, no compassion. I was just a zombie, gone with the floor, in a rat race, trying to win the race, but had no clue what direction I was going. I was just running with no purpose or nothing, and didn't care. So, but during that time, there was a lot of negativity was coming with that, and a lot of negativity was coming into my life, and my birthdays were my worst days. Like I just had some very, very bad episodes, and that season was just very dark. But when I began to become aware of this, I was like, this doesn't feel right. Something is wrong with this. Like, how can I fix this? And when I started asking that question, how, things begin to open up. And that's when I was given the opportunity. God came in, my Heavenly Father came in, and He sent me on a journey away from my problems, away from the people that were listening to, or the problems that I was in. He pulled me away from that, thousands of miles away in a different country. And during that time, I decided to be very intentional with that time. I decided to, I'm going to use this moment, this season, to really rediscover myself, to find that clarity. So during that period of time is when I started doing reflection more. I began to write and journal, because I always been a poet. I love writing, and I did that, but I got away from it. And during that season when I got away from it, that's when things started happening. I left from my foundation. So when I went away, I was able to redefine myself and be back centered on my foundation.
Through your writing, through your journal.
My writing, to reflecting, to reading more. One of the books that I read multiple times overseas was the Holy Bible, trying to find that clarity and that wisdom for me, right? Everyone had their own way, but that was part of my foundation. And that helped set me up for success, and also helped me with the way I was thinking. So when I started going through that and I started writing in my journal, that's when I found out that the problem wasn't other people, because I was pointing fingers, but the problem was me.
You were the common denominator in all of the struggles.
I was the common denominator. Yes. And so once I realized that, okay, all right, I'm aware of this now. What's the next step? So that's when I start changing the way how I was thinking. That's when I started saying, okay, all right, in order for me to move forward, what do I need? And the biggest decision that I made in that moment was, I need forgiveness.
Talk to me about forgiveness. Who's forgiving who? How's that?
Yes. See, I needed forgiveness. I needed to forgive others. And I also needed to ask for forgiveness for the people that I knew I did wrong to. So I went through that period of forgiving others, giving it to my higher power. It's with you. Take care of it. I wash myself clean from it. I dust my feet off, and I'm walking on into the next chapter. So forgiving others, reaching out, letting them know that I forgive them, and then also asking for forgiveness to the ones that I need to ask forgiveness for, and receiving that forgiveness. And what that did is, all the weight that I had on my back that year's just been piling up, because I was in that sense of unforgiveness. But when I began to ask for forgiveness and begin to forgive others, those bags of weight of baggage fell off.
So did you forgive yourself? Did you get
Yes,
on talk
that
to
was
your own
wonderful.
self?
I had to forgive myself too, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, you did this, but guess what? You can learn from it. You can move on.
Yeah,
Hey, it's part of life. You live, you learn, you get better. Now that you know better, do better, right? One of the sayings that I have is, you don't know what you don't know, But in order to go up, you must grow up. So I started to grow up. I started to mature spiritually. I started to mature socially, emotionally, right? All that plays a part, the holistic approach, right? I had to get very clear on where I was lacking and start taking the necessary steps on what I needed to do in order to get to the point that I want to be. Like, you got to ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? Like, what is the thing that you want, that you, or that you've been born to do? What is your divine purpose in life? Like, what is that purpose? And you got to figure that out. And I was in that moment trying my best to figure what that was. Another question that I asked myself was, at my funeral, what do I want people to say about me? Right? The life that I was living, it was not good. So how can I change the narrative? How can I rewrite the movie script for my life?
Yeah.
Right? So, and that began a new journey for me, a new path.
Beautiful.
Right? So, and I began to start walking that path consistently. Now, was it easy? No. It was not easy, but I really enjoyed the journey because I learned something new every single day about myself, about others, about life in general.
Yeah, we can get sidetracked with our doubts, and the old belief systems can come in and sabotage us and to convince us that we're wasting our time. And really it sounds like you had a beautiful opening for yourself through your journaling, which your intuition was growing, to listen to that, well, God, the higher power, which I refer to God, the Father, as a higher power, just to keep people from freaking out. But and that combination, intuition with your higher power, and I want to do something different, and I need more more information. It sounds like a wonderful, and that's what you teach people.
Yes.
That's how you help people. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And it also goes to when you find that clarity, like true, utter clarity, it's priceless. It's priceless.
Yeah.
And once you have it, and you're very clear on your own core values, what you live for, it's easy for you to make decisions in life. You don't have to think about it. You already know what the answer is because it falls in line with your core values, or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, then you have to have the boldness to say no and move on, right? And like, let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. And I'm learning that more and more, that I have to stand my ground more as I continue to level up in life and move forward in my life, even on my journey. That God has given me more opportunities to use my no muscle, right? Even though sometimes I don't want to. But in order for us to be to be authentic and continue to walk the path that we've been given, there's decisions that we have to make at the right time, at the right moment, for the right reasons. So having that clarity helps that.
Yeah, the clarity. Now, I want to tell you this, because we're talking about belief systems, and we're talking about doing a 180, turning it around. And I've known people, I mean, I bet you have, who really are holding on to a set of core values that aren't in their highest and best interest, or they're really messing with other people's highest and best interests. And you just live and let live, or are you, when somebody hires you, I suppose you tell them, this is what I'm seeing, but I mean, how can we as individuals recognize when what we think is our core values is not on track?
Oh, you can tell. I mean, and it's an internal thing. As a coach, I don't tell people how to live their life or what they should do. I help people to think through that for themselves by asking them the right core questions to help them find the true answers within. Because all your answers is already within you. You just got to take the time to reflect and find the answers and be very clear with that. So there's ways in how you can discover what are your core values, right? For me, my core values started with the military and learning the core values of the military. And that was those were the values that I was using for a very long time, because that's all I knew at a young age, joining the military at the age of 17, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
so that was my foundation when it come down to leadership, in a sense, right? And having core values. So as I begin to grow and as I begin my personal development growth moment of my life, which was 2012, is when I really started that, in a
Oh my
sense,
goodness.
like
Yeah.
really started and actually being intentional with my actions. I began to say, okay, all right, what are my core values? What do I want to live for? And what do I want to be known for? So my core values is called SMERITs. Like in the military, we love our acronyms. So SMERITs. SMERITS. So SME stands for subject matter expert. I want to be a subject matter expert in everything that I do. So that takes time to study, understand whatever I'm trying to focus on, and make sure I'm very clear on that. Like, this is what I really want to do, right? If it's not something I really want to do, okay, let's shift and let's do something that I really want to do. So taking those time to reflect and finding those moments to do audits over my life. Am I really moving in the right direction? If I'm not, okay, let's adjust and let's move. So a subject matter expert in everything that I do. The R stands for respect, because it's the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. And I want to always push out positive vibes in the atmosphere, because what you put out is what you get back. So I'm that is very important for me. The I stands for integrity. So just being honest with myself, being authentic, being my authentic self with everyone that I meet is very important to me, because I want you to be authentic with me. I want you to show me your true self, so that way we can connect holistically, right? Because that's very important. And then the T is time bound, or time management. One of the things that I was lacking was time management. And I knew that was an issue for me. So I made that a core value where it forced me to start thinking about time more. So now everything that I do is on my calendar, right? So that way I know exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and how I am conducting my day. Being very intentional with my day on how I conduct every hour of the day, and that helps me to stay in my right path, to be on my core values, and ensure that I'm doing the things that I say that I was going to do with my life. And then the S, the last one, is the one that I always do all the time, and that's smile. It is my God-given gift. It's everyone's God-given gift. But I believe that I have the most power of the gift of the smile, because it always cheers other people up when I smile. So those are my core values, and those are the things that I live by and live with. And based on how I interact with people or connect with people will determine the route that I would go with them.
Okay.
Relationship-wise, right?
Yeah.
So that helps me to stay within my realm, in my boundaries, and to
In your lane.
keeps me focused on what is important.
It sounds lovely. Lovely. I love that. You mentioned something, and I saw it a couple of different times on your material, is you're a certified neuroencoding specialist. And I'm like, what is that? What is he doing here?
Yeah, so neuroencoding is. Do you know someone that doesn't know their purpose or feels stuck in life? Right?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what I do. I have a proven system that help people to rediscover themselves by diagnosing their limited beliefs. That helps them to truly discover what their purpose is in life, and what's really holding them back. And there's a method to that, on how to reconstruct the way how you think and how you carry or go about yourself, right? And so with this specialty, or with this knowledge, I'm able to pinpoint different things with someone based on what they share with me, and then help them to shift the way they think about it, right?
Wow.
So one of the things that we like to do is, like, if you have a bad habit that you're trying to break, there's a way how you can shift the way you think. Like, for one of the things that I used to do, again, going back to time, because time was an issue of mine and something that I really had to fight through. Like, sometimes I will get squirrel moments and focus on something else when I don't need to be focusing on it, right? I need to come back to where I need to come. So there's a way how you can interrupt your pattern, interrupt the way you're thinking. So if you're doing something that is negative, soon you acknowledge it, notice it, you immediately think about something that's positive or the opposite of what you're doing or what you're trying to do.
Okay.
And you focus on that, and then you smile and you celebrate that moment that you are back on track.
Yeah.
And you continue to do that over and over again. What it does, it creates new brain cells, right? New wave patterns to shift from that way of thinking or shift from that habit to focus on the habit that you want in your life. So I have square moments. I have to snap that. Okay, all right, got you. I'm over here.
Yeah,
So,
I see. You got yourself in. So in the training, I love this idea of training and changing your brain. And I do a lot of meditation or quieting myself with the intention of that higher power or my soul or my higher self. Can you help fix my brain, or not fix my brain because we're not broken, but help me to train me to go where the dream is, where the soul is, because that's asking for help from higher power.
Yeah.
So you can we relate to that. So
yeah, I do. Because I meditate too as well. I take time to not only meditate but also visualization. Visualization takes it to another level. But let's talk about the meditation piece. Why should you meditate, or why is that important? And you said it already. It helps ease the mind. It calms the mind. It lower your stress level. And it puts you in a sense of awareness. And it helps you to tap into your natural instinct of your intuition, right? And your intuition is a muscle too as well that you can work on and build.
Absolutely.
So that's why
muscle. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why I use an app. I think the new name of it is Mind Spa, and it helps me to meditate for like 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
And to just quiet down the spirit, quiet down the mind for that moment. And by me I started this probably, don't make me fib here, but I've been doing it for a while now, for some years now. And I'm glad that I found this application and begin to apply this in my life, because my way of thinking has completely changed. My intuition has developed tremendously.
Wow.
And I'm able to, one time I wasn't able to think on my feet or be able to be witty, right? But with this, by reflecting and meditating, I have built that muscle where I can, if I choose to. But again, it's a choice, right? And like, where do you want to be in the future? And having that clarity of where you want to be, it helped me to create this growth plan of adding meditation as something that I do within my life, within my routine. So whenever I see myself stressed out, or I see that the universe is speaking to me that things are just negative, or negativity is trying to enter into my life. You hear what I say, right? Trying to enter my life. I take note of that, and I shift my thinking, and I shift what I do. And one of the things that I do is I meditate in that period of time. I also like on Tai Chi, Bhagwan Z, and some martial arts.
Right.
So sometimes I do Tai Chi to help ease the stress down, to lower the stress down, and also increase the circulation of your blood, right? And that's another reason why I do it. So sometimes I do Tai Chi. I don't do it all the time, but I use it because I understand the methodology of it and why it is important, right? And how it has helped me on my journey. So there's multiple things that I do. So you just got to find out what works for you and utilize it. Now, the visualization, it goes with vision. right? The word vision is inside visualization. And with vision, it's very clear. The best book that I know of speaks about vision, and it says, without vision, the people perish, right?
Yeah.
So having that vision is important, and understanding what that vision is important. So when you create a vision board, one of the things that help you to move forward towards those goals on your vision board is using visualization. And guess what? Visualization is a form of meditation, right?
Can be.
Being able to
Yeah.
tap into that next level, that spiritual level, that intuition, right? So visualizing the things that you want in your life as if it was now, as if you can reach
Feel
it,
like it's now.
you
Yeah.
can feel
Get
it,
it.
you
Yeah.
can taste
Yeah.
it, you can hear it,
Absolutely.
you can smell it. And what that does, it does something to the inside. It gives you that sense of urgency and the ability to remove desires out of the way and actually take action on your desires.
Yeah,
That's what it does.
see
That's what it
it
did
and
for me.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you take a really quick break just to let people know, if you want to hear more about from Coach Teon, is his podcast is the TSLE. Is it WLI
That's
podcast?
it.
All
That's
those
it.
letters, TSLE WLI
I love
podcast,
acronyms.
and so people, you can just go ahead and put that into your search engine, and his, I did it, and his podcast showed up. It's quite a few, and also people can reach you. You do have some background of being an author, and so in the show notes here below, if you want to look, you'll see his website as well as the TSLE podcast. Does it need the WLI after it too, or can they just do TSLE?
TSLE WLI or TSLE Weekly Live Inspiration.
Okay. And then you can see that you belong to the John C. Maxwell group as a coach. Sounds pretty powerful stuff. And you can catch him at bless at teonsingletary.com. Famous football player too, by the way. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about your you've written some books or you have co-authored some books.
It's a mixture of both.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, so I have written 4 books of my own. My first book was published, I believe, in 2015. It was my poetry book. And then my next book was on reflection time and goal setting. It's the way how the steps that I take to set the stage to reflect. And then the steps that I take to set the atmosphere to begin to set the goals for that year. So every year, I tend to go away for a couple of days to reflect over that year on how well it went, what went bad, what went good, what do I want to maintain in the next year, how do I want to change that, what the changes that do I need to make, and then how do I make those changes.
Yeah.
And I begin to plan my day out. Then I have a children book too as well, The Mouse with the Cheese, talking about your dreams, goals, and visions, and just going after your goals no matter what comes your way. And then I have one that deals with a 30-day, it takes you on a 30-day journey of just inspiration. It's designs of images that I built or pictures that I've taken through my travel. And then I add a paragraph of inspiration just to give you some empowerment over your life.
I love those inspiration books where you just kind of, sometimes you're leafing through it on a bad day and go, oh, this is a great idea.
This is exactly what I needed for the day, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wonderful. Now, you also speak, I think you do some youth work. Is that true?
I do.
You have a huge, you coach with your individual people, then you have some youth groups, but then you have some corporate groups. So this must be many different mindsets that you work with. How's that going?
It's going good. The youth is pretty much my core because I could connect with, it's just my God-given gift to connect with the youth in my special way, just because of my personality and it's just my spirit. So once I realized that was a God-given gift, I began to tap into that a little bit more. So yeah, I'm part of multiple youth groups that I help support in some shape, form, fashion, either as coaching them, speaking into their life, or just being present. Right.
It's like working with young people. I mean, I'm always curious. Their belief systems, are they flexible or are they really ingrained yet? How easy are they to affect change with them? I would think it'd be much easier than an adult, but
No, it's universal. People want
okay.
to know, like, and trust you. If they know you, if they like you, and they can trust you, then you can be able to help them with their thinking, not tell them
Yeah.
how to think, but
Right.
share with them by living out your story, living out your life,
Right.
because they're watching you. If you think that they're not watching you, then you're mistakenly wrong. Because they are
Yeah.
watching everything you say and they're watching everything that you do. So if you just be the best person that you can be in front of them, be the role model, they will
Hmm.
follow you. So as you being the leader, you know the way and you go the way. And if you go the right way, they will
Hmm.
follow your way. So like we make things a lot harder than what it needs to be. Just be your authentic self, and just you being your authentic self and being true to them, they're gonna see that. And if they want to follow you, guess what? They are going to follow you and follow your
Yeah.
footsteps.
I've always felt this way, and I've been thinking more and more about it. Is like at my age, I say a lot of things or influence and make a change, but I see this younger generation are going to be the ones that take the action, apply the change,
Yes.
and that's a lot of responsibility on their
Yeah.
shoulders,
Yeah.
whether they realize it or not. What are your thoughts on that? How would you approach that?
The future is bright. As we begin to step into our position and our role, which is to help support them in their dreams, goals, and visions,
Hmm.
instead of trying to change them or
Right.
tear down their dreams, we need to learn how to connect with them in a way where we work together in unity, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
different generation, and the way they think is totally
Absolutely.
different than how we think. The way how they do things
Yeah.
is totally different than the way how we do things.
Absolutely. Well, the
So you have,
technology is teaching them something. Yeah, the
yeah,
technology is teaching them, but I also feel like this younger generation may have a different path to follow than we ever thought of.
yes,
And so we need to listen to them.
that's
What do
it.
you think
Listen,
your path is? Where are you going? What's inspiring
that's it.
you? Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And when we begin to start that connecting, not only will they be able to learn from us, we will be able to learn from them. Which is
Exactly, exactly. So in my, growing up in my generation, which I think is a little older than yours, but my parents would say, "Here's what you're going to do. Here's how the world works.
yep,
Here's
yep,
how this is." And
yep,
I
yep.
see these youngsters, even watching my grandkids who are just still tiny, they don't have the world I had.
Nope.
And they're working it so differently, and I'm like, how'd you
Yes.
figure that out? But what they have as resources are so different than what I had, or even you had as a
Yep.
resource,
Yep.
or don't have. Some of the resources that we had, they don't have, like
Yeah.
time and playtime and all that. They're very busy. Stop making your kids so busy, guys. Let them just play. But
That's right. That's right.
yeah,
I remember a time when we used to have encyclopedias. Like you had to buy the
yeah,
catalogs in order to do your research. Now you
exactly.
just type it into Google search and you
Yeah,
find exactly what you need right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy how
Well, you might get the wrong thing too, so you need to know.
you can be very
I
careful.
the first answer wasn't the best answer. Let's keep looking. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. You gotta be very careful. You gotta be very careful. Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah. But you have in as you work in corporate teams. So now we're going to go into, I don't know what age group you work with corporate teams. So now you've got the young people growing up and they're having their first
Mhm,
jobs,
mhm,
and then you have uh, and they think so differently than the middle management and then the upper management. How do you
mhm.
build the teams? I'm really curious. How do you do that?
So I work with on the main people that I've been working with has been in the nonprofit sector in the past couple of
Okay.
years. When I used to really work into it. So in the non-sector area, I was a career coach in a sense, a program leader, a program coach, whatever you want to call it. Titles really doesn't matter, but the
Mm-hmm.
goal was to help facilitate change in their life,
Mm-hmm.
to help them to move from a limited way of belief
Yeah. Yeah.
a growth or a positive way of living
Yeah.
and find that independency because there was been
Yeah.
dependent on others all their life. So now how do we shift that way of thinking? So working in the nonprofit sector and helping folks that were unemployed or underemployed. One of the ways how we did that is to help them by building their soft skills, because we realized in our workforce, soft skills was a major issue.
What's a soft skill? Define a soft skill here.
Soft skills of being just dealing with people, managing conflicts, being able to just know what to do, and just being a good person or a good worker at the employment. So teaching them soft skills of communication, the way of thinking, how to manage your time, how to manage conflict properly, how your work ethic should be for longevity at your employment. So helping them, teaching them that, also teaching them about resumes and interview skills, all that soft skills, right? Everything that you can learn and you can build, you can grow. And what that did is it helped them when they go into the workforce to be more profitable in a sense in who they are, and that I will benefit your company by you hiring me. Right. So that's where I used to work with previously, and then what we used to do, and changing that way of thinking is easy because we had a workshop where we for a couple of days, 4 to 5 days, where we teach them core lessons each day to prep them for the workforce.
Absolutely.
And it helped a lot of people during that period of time that we did it for 4 years. So that's when I shifted and I went to military. And I was with the military for 3 years, and then I just came back last year. So now we're building it back up again.
I love what you're doing, but I have this question, because this is a burning question for lots of people I talk to. They've been working. They got the skill, whatever it is, they got the field, and it's not working for them anymore. And then they start to open up to a life path idea and where their talents and their gifts are. But they're separate now. So applying that life path and that inspiration and that connection to that higher power to what they're doing right now. Now, and that's a tricky thing to do. There used to be when in the 80s, a book, Follow What You Love, Follow Your Heart, the Money Will Follow. And I didn't see any money following my heart. But what is a crisis time for older people is they've worked really hard at a moving in a certain direction, and it didn't match who they were. And that's a little bit of a crisis. But now you're training these children, young ones, youth, to what is your talents? What are your gifts? What is your life path? So maybe I don't know if they are having a better start at things and picking better choices, or the choices that they feel that they want to go to don't exist yet. So I'd love for you to answer all 3 of those questions.
That's a lot there. I'm going to try to dissect this a little bit more. Yeah. And what I'm understanding is we're trying to ensure that we are taking the right path when we start. And if we don't take the right path, how do we pivot and restart the journey? So here's the good thing. That doesn't matter what path you take. Any path you take, what I've learned with my experience, it can work. You just got to be able to commit, be dedicated, and work it. Work, because everything in life is an ecosystem. And in every ecosystem, there is a process, a particular process that you must follow in order to get the end result that you're trying to achieve. And if you don't follow that process, then guess what? 9 times out of 10, you have a big old gap. And that gap is the embarrassment. The gap is not achieving your objective, not achieving your goals, your vision, your dreams, right? So this is where you are. This is what you're trying to reach. You got to find a way to fix the middle. What is that? What is the system? Understanding that system, and then following our process throughout until you reach the end point. And it takes time for you to reach it, right? And so you got to be willing to commit and sacrifice the right things to get to that point, right? Not
You
sacrificing,
sacrifice the right things.
the meaning, not sacrificing yourself or your soul, but
Okay.
sacrificing your time to
Oh,
learn,
you're using up
to
your
grow
time. Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
sacrificing finance to invest into the right
Yes,
things to help equip you with the tools you need to get there,
exactly.
right?
I can relate to that 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So sacrificing the right things for the right reasons at the right moments plays a part in the overall ecosystem
Yeah.
of whatever that is. And I say whatever that is because I've been part of multiple organizations,
Mhm.
multiple you would call it um, multi-marketing companies or
Mhm.
organizations uh, in my early years before I really start walking this walk,
Mhm.
which I started walking my own path and building my own businesses in 2015. But before then, when I came from when I started doing my reflection time in 2012, I began to start doing other stuff and trying to learning my purpose and trying to figure my way, right, like everyone else.
Yeah.
So what I've learned over time is that any of the systems that I was part of, I could have been successful in it if I had the right drive, the right motives, and the right attitude.
And you were aligned with it.
Yeah,
You were
and I was in line with it
aligned with it.
holistically
Yeah.
100%. Because
Yeah.
if you don't buy all the way into what you're trying to do, you're wasting your time. It's literally you wasting your time if you're not full bought into the system that you're trying
Yeah.
to work into, right? So
Right.
so once I realized that, I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to go ahead and start doing my own
Yeah.
business, right? And that's when I started my business, and I never looked back. I literally never looked back in 2015 because I now understand the process, and the process is very simple. You just have to fully commit
It's
into what you
hard, it's simple, but it's like
like.
fully commit. Yeah.
It sounds simple, but it's not simple because guess what? It takes work. And
Mhm.
and one of the things that we want to do, like there's a formula that I use and I use a lot in my coaching and when I speak, and that is be, do, have. That's the
Mhm.
formula. Be, do, have. Most people want to have the things that you want, or things that they want in life. Like they see
Mhm.
someone successful in their field. I want to have that. Okay, you want to have that. But the question is, are you willing to put in the work that it took for them
Mhm.
to get what they have? Right? And 9 out of 10, most of the
Yeah.
answers is, nah, I just want to have it. No, that's not how it works. You have to
Exactly. Be.
you got to become
Yeah.
the person that begins to do the work
Work.
so that you have. But when we just want to
Yeah.
have and don't want
Yeah.
to be and do,
Well,
then
you're
guess what?
skipping the part. You're seeing somebody has something and you think, oh, that's great, I would love it. But it's not connected to who you are at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so
That's it.
that's
So
where you gotta start.
and that's where you got to start. So that's where you got to always find out: is it truly within your giftedness?
Yeah.
Is it who you are? Is it
Yeah.
what you do? Is it going to add to what you're already doing? If it's
Right.
not going to add to what you're already doing, then
Yeah.
why invest into it? Why waste the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Focus on the things that you have and work it. And then there's ways how to work it. There's things that
Yeah.
you must do. There's things that you must understand with that. So it's
Yeah.
it's an ecosystem. But once you
Well,
fully
yeah.
understand the ecosystem, you
Yeah.
start to work it,
Okay.
and you stay committed to it with consistency. That's
Yeah.
when you will start seeing the
Yeah.
return. But you
You
got
know
to
what?
be consistent.
Yeah. You know what pops into my head is all those generations of it could be anything. That's coal miners, for instance, or whatever it is. Coal miners are popping in my
Uh, uh,
nothing
uh,
wrong
uh,
with being a coal miner. I'm not
uh-huh.
saying that, but technology is changing,
Yes.
and so the need for coal miners isn't as big as it was 70, 80 years ago. But
Uh-huh.
you've been handed down generation to generation, and you know all the things about being part of the coal miners ecosystem, about all the skills, all the risks that you're taking, the bravery, the courage. There's a great camaraderie in it,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and it no longer works. You need to step out
Yeah.
into something new, and you're
Yeah.
afraid of letting your kids step out. You're afraid And maybe you are right at you're 28 years old. You've been doing it since you were 15. You got to step up. What do you tell somebody like that? How do you help them? They must be just out of their minds worried about what am I going to do now?
You gotta jump, fall, and grow your wings as you fall, right? Like you intentionally know when it's time to change. Like your spirit, your mind, your intuition will tell you. But the question is, do you agree with it? Are you in denial, right? And sometimes we all fall into in denial, like, oh no, I don't need to change. Oh no, I don't need to fix this. No, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah.
But are you? Are you really good where you at?
Yeah.
Right? Is it serving you in the way how you really wanted to serve you? If it's not, then it's time to pivot and shift the way you think and what you're doing. So you just gotta be honest with yourself, which is something that I had to do, and because my businesses has shifted, and I can just speak from my own experience. My SP Serves business started off as graphic designing and website designing and video graphic designing, but then as I began to build and grow, it shifted from graphics designing and website designing to book publication, right? And now I don't really do it, and I was doing graphic designing still a little bit and website designing still, but I was starting to bring in book publication, and then I realized I'm doing a little bit too much here. Let's shift. So I began to shift, whereas mainly I changed it to SP Serves Publishing. So now the main focus is and that's book publication. And then with that comes graphic designing, if it's part of that package, or website designing, if that's a small need for it, right? But I had to shift the way how I thought about it and to shift the way how I did things, right? So with that rebranding, I'm now more happy with it, and I know how to operate because I'm very clear. This is the main thing. And that's to keep the main thing the main thing. Everything else come last, but the main thing is this. And then as I begin to grow and develop, I begin doing coaching and speaking and masterminds, and I was putting all that under, guess what? I was putting that on under SP Serves, when that's not the main thing for SP Serves. I was like, okay, let's step back in. It's time to pivot again. So in 2020 is when I started TSLE, which is TS Leadership Empowerment, during the pandemic, because I realized it was time for me to create a new business, because what I was doing in the community has shifted and changed. I said, okay, I got to leave this business by itself. I got to create something else for this. And that's what I did. So I had to shift. So in every season, you gotta be aware of when it's time to shift.
It's such good advice. Be aware when it's time to shift. Because it sounds like you were using the skills. You weren't throwing the skills out. You were just shifting your focus. I was a graphic designer for 25 years, textbooks, children's textbooks, absolutely adored it. And then the business shifted, and I ended up not having a job anymore. Went into school, photo business, and I loved it because I loved the kids. And then that didn't work out anymore. And then I went into doing some of this work that I'm doing right now, which is, and my love is to see people shift, borrowing your word, from what they thought was true and it's not true to what is the next soul aligned endeavor. And that's why I was excited to have you on the show, is kind of talk about, you can do it. You can make that shift.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. Anybody can do it. You just got to be, there's a framework that I have, a 5-step framework. And the first part of the framework is awareness. You have to be aware where you are in order to know where you want to go and where you need to go. Once you understand and have clarity with that, now step 2, or framework or principle 2, and that is preparation. Because when you prepare properly, you're able to get to where you need to go. So poor preparation creates poor performance, right? So if you don't want poor performance, you got to prepare yourself from point A to point Z. What are the things you need to do in the middle to get there? Like I shared earlier. So the preparation is the next point. The third part I'm gonna give you, and we can stop here before I give you all five, right? But the third one is very important, and that helps you with part A, well, 1 and 2, which is awareness and preparation. And number 3 is you have to believe in yourself, right? And that's where you begin to shift the mindset from thinking to growth thinking. So taking the right moments and doing the right things daily to shift the way how you see yourself, how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself. When you look in the mirror, what are the words that you say? Right? I'm not capable. I'm a victim. I don't have the capabilities. I don't have the resources. No, change that stinking thinking to, oh, I am capable. I am more than a conqueror. I do have the ability. I do have the resources. If I don't have the resources, guess what? I am going to create the resource for myself. So shifting your way, how you think, and that helps you to build your belief system of yourself, which builds confidence and competence in what you do. And so that, and it help enforces your awareness and the work that you would do to prepare yourself for where you need to go. So those are the 3 of the 5 of my principles that if you start using those 3 right now in your life, you will begin to see a shift tremendously, just like that. But you just have to do it, and you got to be consistent.
And be curious and be brave and
yes, curiosity does not kill the cat.
It does not kill the cat.
Curiosity creates ability to be creative, right?
Exactly.
To be aware and to ask the right questions. And once you get those answers, now how can I apply this in my life? How can I apply this in my business? How can I apply this wherever you finish the sentence how you want to finish it? So finding the answer, then applying those answers to your life.
And then you'll get steps 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5. But what I'd like, I think we're coming to the end of our conversation, and which sounds like we could go for hours. But do you have a couple of last things you'd like the listeners to know about you, or advice you want to give them?
Yes. I want you to just take a breath. Just breathe. Just breathe. It is okay. Where you are is where you are. The question you have to ask yourself, where do I want to go next? Then based on that answer, will determine the next steps in your life. But what you have to do is you have to make a decision to choose, and then just find one thing. I know this been an hour or so of us talking and speaking into you, but just find one thing from our conversation. Just one. And begin to apply that in your life for the next 30 days. And if you do that, you will begin to see change. You will begin to see a shift. You will begin to be transformed into a different way of thinking. But just find one. And if you find one, you stay consistent, just remember, and I just want to just to empower you to know that you can't give up. Like, never give up. Never give in. Continue to fight until you win. There's light at the end of the tunnel, but you got to fight through it. You got to have a tenacity of a lion to be courageous and bold and push forward in your life.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for those wonderful words. And I do need to close, and I want to thank you, Teon, for coming on and giving your wisdom. And I ask all my listeners, reach out to Teon. When you're listening to this on a podcast, please like and subscribe so I can bring you more podcasts. Check out the show notes, how to get in touch with Coach Teon, and go with curiosity, go with love, go with your soul, and stay safe and live your life with kindness.
Are you